Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Tillerson blasts Russia over alleged nerve agent attack in UK. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on Monday slammed Russia over an alleged nerve agent attack in Britain, going further than the White House and directly calling out the Kremlin as an irresponsible force of instability in the world. Tillerson said the United States will stand in solidarity with the United Kingdom and would coordinate its response to the attack. At least two people, former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia, have been left extremely sick due to the alleged nerve agent. Tillerson's decision to take a harsher tone than the White House is the latest example of the Trump administration's struggle to coordinate its overall foreign policy message. That differences have been especially obvious when it comes to Russia, whose government President Donald Trump has been loath to criticize and which is suspected of interfering in the 2016 presidential election on his behalf. British Prime Minister Theresa May said Monday it was highly likely that the Kremlin was responsible for the nerve agent attack and that the substance was a type known to be developed by Russia. She suggested that the Russian government carried out the attack or it had allowed the dangerous material to fall into the hands of others. She demanded that Russian President Vladimir Putin explain how the military-grade substance ended up on UK soil. The Russian government has denied the allegations. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders offered the Trump administration's fullest condemnation on Monday, but she did not go as far as May in assigning blame to Russia. In remarks to reporters while traveling in Africa, Tillerson said the attack was a really egregious act. At that point, the secretary said it was not clear whether the Russian government itself was behind the attack or whether it was a non-state actor. It was almost beyond comprehension that a state actor would take such a step given that it could potentially harm many people, Tillerson said. But in a statement issued later in the day, Tillerson said the United States has full confidence in the British assessment that Russia was likely responsible. There is never a justification for this type of attack, the attempted murder of a private citizen on the soil of a sovereign nation, and we are outraged that Russia appears to have again engaged in such behavior, Tillerson said in the statement. From Ukraine to Syria, and now the UK, Russia continues to be an irresponsible force of instability in the world, acting with open disregard for the sovereignty of other states and the life of their citizens. He added, "We agree that those responsible, both those who committed the crime and those who ordered it, must face appropriately serious consequences. We stand in solidarity with our allies in the United Kingdom and will continue to coordinate closely our responses." Trump has struck a notably softer tone than Tillerson when it comes to Russia. He has dismissed the U.S. intelligence community's assessment that Russia interfered in the 2016 campaign to help him win, and he has repeatedly talked about the need to find common ground with Putin. His administration also has held back on imposing sanctions passed into law by Congress. While Tillerson has tried to patch up fraying ties with Russia, he nonetheless has been more vocal than the president in criticizing some of Russia's actions overseas, including its aggression in Ukraine and its role in the Syrian conflict. In comments while in Africa, Tillerson, a former ExxonMobil CEO who knows Putin well, said he'd become extremely concerned about Russia and acknowledged that the past year's worth of attempts to improve the relationship with Moscow didn't get very far. Instead, what we've seen is a pivot on their part to be more aggressive, Tillerson said. And this is very, very concerning to me and others that there seems to be a certain unleashing of activity that we don't fully understand what the objective behind that is. Skripal had reportedly acted as an informant for British intelligence. The attack on him and his daughter is believed to have occurred March 4 and possibly exposed any number of other people to danger in the city of Salisbury. May faces pressure to take substantive action against Russia. When she was the Home Secretary, she resisted an open inquiry into the fatal poisoning in 2006 of another ex-Russian spy, Alexander Litvinenko. Trump close to tapping Kudlow to succeed Cohn. President Donald Trump is close to choosing economic analyst Larry Kudlow as his new top economic policy advisor, according to 3 people briefed on the internal deliberations. After souring on Kudlow because he publicly criticized the president's decision to impose steep tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, Trump is now leaning heavily toward tapping the CNBC contributor and former Reagan administration official to lead the National Economic Council, the People said. One administration official said on Monday that an announcement could be imminent, perhaps within 24 hours. But others cautioned that the decision had not yet been finalized, adding that Trump has been known to change his mind without warning. Trump spoke with Kudlow twice in recent days, according to a White House aide said, who added that the president has been impressed by his performance on cable news. A White House spokeswoman did not respond to a request for comment on Monday night. The decision comes after the president sent mixed signals in recent days about whom he wanted for the job, leaving those around him struggling to keep up. By Monday afternoon, at least 2 candidates to take over for Gary Cohn as director of the National Economic Council, NEC Deputy Director Shahir Knight and the White House Director of Strategic Initiatives, Chris Liddell, appeared to be out of the running entirely, while Kudlow's prospects had greatly improved. Some White House officials said they were unsure as of Monday afternoon exactly what the president would decide, and when. Aides have grown accustomed to working for a president who often makes decisions without warning. Trump abruptly announced via Twitter last summer that John Kelly, who at the time was Homeland Security Secretary, would become his chief staff. The president's revived interest in Kudlow to some extent reflects the White House's limited options. Economists have widely panned Trump's tariff decision, and some potential picks are hesitant to join an administration defined by chaos and facing an expanding special counsel investigation. In the end, people close to both men said the final decision could come down to chemistry, a factor that bodes well for Kudlow. Trump feels comfortable with Kudlow, whom Trump has known for years. One person familiar with the issue said the president could simply call Kudlow and offer him the job, without bothering to go through a formal interview process. He brings a couple big assets to the table, said conservative economist Stephen Moore. 1, he is a great communicator of economics, one of the best in the country, especially for the free market ideas that Trump is mostly espousing. And 2, Larry has really great relationships with members of Congress, certainly on the Republican side but also among Democrats who may disagree with him but like him. Moore added that even though Kudlow has argued against tariffs and other protectionist policies, he would back the president's policies once they are finalized. That's certainly a condition of the job, Moore said. If you work for the president you have to stand by him. But Kudlow has detractors in the administration. One White House official noted that if Kudlow didn't have a personal relationship with the president, he probably wouldn't get past the administration's informal personnel vetting standards, which have been used to sideline potential nominees who have been critical of Trump in the past. Kudlow knocked Trump in 2016 after an audio recording was released in which Trump bragged about groping women during an appearance on Access Hollywood. The vile tape, as I call it, is inexcusable. I was absolutely furious, Kudlow said on CNBC at the time. He went on, I hope Mr. Trump gets his act together. But if he continues to drop into these rabbit holes, I'll write in Mr. Pence. People close to Kudlow said he was interested in succeeding Cohn and would accept the job. Kudlow declined to comment. Unlike Cohn, who took the job with the task of pulling off tax reform and with the widespread presumption that he would be named chairman of the Federal Reserve, the next NEC director won't have a clear policy goal or an obvious promotion on the horizon. Instead, it appears Trump's focus is shifting toward policies backed by his trade advisor Peter Navarro, who himself wanted the NEC job, and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. In the coming weeks, Trump is expected to announce the results of the administration's investigation into allegations that China does not adequately protect intellectual property rights. Administration officials and others closely tracking the issue said the administration was weighing tariffs on more than 100 Chinese products, in addition to possible investment restrictions. A free trader like Kudlow at the NEC would also have to fight to protect the North American Free Trade Agreement and possibly try to find a way for the administration to slip back into the giant Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal. During an interview on a recent podcast, Kudlow warned that withdrawing from NAFTA would be a calamitously bad decision that would turn business against the president, where he's got a lot of goodwill, and would frankly blow up the whole stock market. But NEC staffers have made it clear that they would revolt, and even quit, if Trump taps White House trade advisor Peter Navarro, an avowed trade hawk who has clashed with Cohn, for the job. And Navarro is no longer considered a top candidate. Cohn announced his resignation last Tuesday amid the fight over the steel and aluminum tariffs. He was supportive of promoting Knight, a former lobbyist who played a central role in writing Trump's tax plan, but she has since told friends she's not interested in the job and may leave White House altogether in the coming months. Cohn has also been supportive of Kudlow's getting the job. Aides said on Monday that Liddell, a White House aide and ally of Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, was no longer a leading candidate for the position, even though the president was eyeing him for the role as recently as this past weekend. His standing fell rapidly after the Wall Street Journal published a scathing editorial about him on Sunday. Liddell's candidacy was also poorly received by some inside the administration who feared that he wouldn't be a formidable enough foil for Navarro. "He's just a wild card," one senior administration official said of Liddell. "I really don't know what to expect." So on Monday the spotlight returned to Kudlow, who has many of the attributes Trump likes. He's well known, smooth on television, and for now, at least, his sharp criticism of Trump's policies in recent weeks appears to be a side note. This is someone who the president really trusts despite his criticism of some of Trump's policies, said FreedomWorks president Adam Brandon. He's a person who can get out on television and explain pro-growth economics. Larry is the absolute perfect person to deliver that message. Cincinnati moves to ban bump stocks. The Trump administration is moving through the slow regulatory process to ban bump stocks, but leaders in Cincinnati, Ohio, say they've found a faster way to get rid of the gun accessories in their city. Cincinnati's city council is expected to move forward with an ordinance to ban bump stocks, attachments which enable guns to fire like automatic weapons, despite Ohio state law that restricts local government from regulating firearms. The city's legal department greenlighted the new regulation in a memo released Monday, arguing that because bump stocks are accessories, they aren't covered by the state law. The decision was first reported by the Columbus Dispatch. For a long time now, a lot of us have looked at the complete dereliction of duty from the federal government and felt exasperated, said Councilman P.G. Sittenfeld, a Democrat who spearheaded the proposal in Cincinnati. Do I wish we could do more as a municipality? Absolutely. Would I support an assault rifle ban? Absolutely. But just because you can't do everything doesn't mean you shouldn't do something. Frankly, I expect other major metropolitan areas in Ohio to follow us, he added. Columbia, South Carolina, similarly moved to ban bump stocks in December, citing the deadly mass shooting in Las Vegas in October, when a man used a weapons fitted with a bump stock attachment in an attack that killed 58 people. The South Carolina ordinance is currently being challenged in court. Discussions of gun control reignited in February following the shooting deaths of 17 people at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. President Donald Trump ordered the Justice Department to move toward a bump stock ban, though the alleged gunman in Florida did not use the accessory. The Justice Department this weekend formally proposed banning bump stocks, but the proposal needs the approval of the Office of Management and Budget and could be challenged in court. The National Rifle Association has opposed legislation banning bump stocks, saying the accessories should be dealt with through regulation. Sittenfeld is skeptical Trump's proposal will be enforced. Trump says a lot of stuff that doesn't actually happen, said Sittenfeld, who unsuccessfully ran in the state's Senate Democratic primary in 2016. This was, in part, a response to the madness and sadness in Florida, Cincinnati's Vice Mayor David Mann said of the city's proposal. "We're just a typical, Midwestern city with the same tensions about this issue. From my perspective, we suffer from the same irresponsibility of the NRA.